I'm happy to greet all of you. Myself, the ambassador of YAHOSHUAH, Elia. I glorify beloved Father Yahvah personally, and I glorify YAHOSHUAH personally as well. We are now back to the teaching, a new teaching. For today, it's the number 1. For this packet of teaching that we are offering, so that this world are listening. So I wish you, YAHOSHUAH bless you all while listening to this teaching. And I call all of you, I invite all of you, let's follow the word. Let's listen to the teaching. The title is Yahvah is the true name of the God of Abraham, and the others are fake, obviously. So that is what we are going to prove, and I hope that you all are so happy at home, following and listening, watching this teaching. What makes the name Yahvah true? First of all, that God of Abraham. The God of Abraham, he is Hebrew. And he gives birth to Ishmael and Isaac. And after that, God, or the Elohim for Israel, that is the meaning of, that is the God for Israelian. So he made a declaration that it's in the descendants to Isaac that people will know him. He's going to go there. We're not going to get into that first, but let's see first what is the name. And it's after that we're gonna see who know him. After that, who know him, and we know that the fact of knowing him ends to Moshe. Mois for the others, Moses or Musa for Muslims, and we're going to see all the words that Abraham said about his name. So we're going to see a date when Abraham existed and when Moshe existed, because these both of them mention the name. We can say that Moshe was a great grand son. We can say that it's in a fifth descendants. If we would say that it was 100 years, the average of living time for people out there, so we can say that he was in the fifth descendants. So let's see the story in what year that Abraham and Moshe existed, because they met with that God first. They mentioned the name of that God. So let's see what year they called that God and in which book they existed. So obviously the book where we can find them are in the Israeli book. And it's already in minus 2,000 years, approximately. It's in, but let's take a look at that. According to the researchers, wise people, they already know the situation in what years Abraham existed. We are going to take a look at that. Wait a moment. We are going to make it slowly. and you are following. I'm going to make it slowly how the story went and when it is shown. Yeah, but before that, I'm telling you that Abraham, it's him who met God first. I have given you the date, as I said to you. It was in minus 1,800 years. Yes, that's where we're going to see. We're going to watch that. Approximately minus 2,000 years. And Moshe, he was in minus 1,500 years. Yeah, the story was long ago, but we're going to see it in which year exactly that story went. And it's Abraham who called out God first. And he, as he is Hebrew, as he is Jews, as he is Israeli, he gives birth to Israelian, so it's in the Israelian that we can find that. So we're going to we're going to follow the story, so we have to make it accordingly. I'm going to tell you that I'm going to prove to you that Abraham is so long ago, so as Moshe, and it's both of them who called that God. And we're going to see what are the God that they called, and we're going to see also that the God that they have called is Yahvah. Sorry, and in the Moshe's period, it becomes Yahvah. So it is well established. The name Yahvah, the God of Abraham. He hates sin. He's the one who hates sins and who hates sinners. That's what he is mentioned in Isaiah 59 verse 1 and 2. Isaiah 59 verse 1 and 2. Father Yahvah's hand is not short and his ears are not dull, but he hears. The God of Moshe is the God of Abraham. Because they are the Israel prophet. Abraham is the ancestor of Israel. It's Israeli people who really get along with God. And that's why you can find the story of Abraham in the book of Israel, not in another book, but it's in an Israeli book. So everyone want to see that. So let's see. We're going to say together who is the real name of the God of Abraham. And we're going to prove that is it really Yahvah? We're going to prove that for today. And there is no one who knows that God except Abraham and Moshe. And Moshe is called Moise or Moses for the others, or Musa for Muslims. And it's also him who called that name Yahvah. We're going to see that together. So the fact that we enter in Moshe, we must look at the descendants of Abraham. Where did the words of God go? After Abraham, where did it go? And then after, where did it go? And you know that it's when it comes from Abraham and go to Isaac. And the one who know that story is Israelian again, because it's Moshe who wrote all the story of Abraham. Moshe, he is a great grandson. And it's him who wrote that. And arriving to the fact of knowing the name Yahvah. And let's give the proof now. We're going to look at, if you have Larousse, it's kind of an encyclopedia, where the words of these researchers, and yeah, Abraham, it's already so long ago. So here there is an Abraham here, above here, and there is an encyclopedia here. Encyclopedia Abraham. So we are talking about Abraham. This article is part of the file dedicated to Judaism. So it's really Jews who really get that story, because it's a kind of Jews that we are talking about, and Abraham is Jewish. It's a descendant. It's an ancestor of Jews. So it's in what year that Abraham existed. So what is here? Patriarch of the Hebrews. 19th century. It's minus, yeah. It's 19th century before 0 year. Yeah, it's minus 1900 where Abraham existed. Who is the ancestor of Israelian? It's in minus 1900, and some give precision, exact, accurate time. So as we can see it, it's minus 1812. If we are going to take a look at this situation, in the Hebrew calendar, Jewish tradition is based on the Midrash Seder Olam Rabbah, which fixes the birth of the patriarch in the year 1948 after creation, or 1812 before the year. Before the year 0. So yeah, arrange well the picture here, Valerie, because it is in a mess. Okay, I'm talking about the picture that I watch, not the picture which is broadcasted at home. So the what we have seen in the Larus Wikipedia, everybody says that it's minus 9, approximately at minus 1900 that Abraham existed. So no one is before him. So how Abraham called his God? Because it's in the Jewish Bible that who got that God. That is the Sefer Torah of Jews, and the Sefer Torah is the book that Moshe wrote, and it's in that book that that the story of Abraham existed, because he's in the minus 2000 years, or minus 1900. So let's see the story in the Sefer Torah of Jews, because he is the most ancient, and no one has that book except the Israelian. All the books are later. For example, the Muslims book, it's in plus 600 that the Muslims book existed. That means that it's late. It's so long after the last Israeli prophet was born, because the last Israeli prophet, his name is YAHOSHUAH. The last Israeli prophet is called YAHOSHUAH. The last Israeli prophet is YAHOSHUAH, and people set up in year 0, and people change it into Jesus Christ or Jesus Christ. It's a fake God. It's a God of Greek. It's not the God of Israelian, but it's the God of Greek that people invented. It's not the Israelian God. That is it. And it's after the year 0 that Muslims wrote their book. So that means that they are late. It must be an original source that we must look for, and it's in minus 2000 years. Even though you're going to do research, you're going to see that it's always between minus 1900 to 1000 to 500 approximately, and we can do the research. But here some say that it's in the minus 1812 for those who really did research, and we can make that research, but we are not going to do some research here. But he is the one who is the most ancient to know that God, and no one can deny that. And the one who got the most ancient book talking about that is Moshe also, or Moise or Moshe. Abraham, we can say that he is the great grandpa. And after he gives Moise or Moses for English, or Musa for Muslims. And he was in minus 1,500. I'm talking about Moshe. So let's talk. Let's look for the birthday of Moshe. We're gonna take it approximately. So he's in the Bible. His name, the Moshe is a Jewish name. So here we can see. When we look at it, first of all, it said, therefore Moses, who according to the Torah, we have just talked the Torah, lived 20 years, would have been born in 1560 before the year 0, and died in minus 1440. So those who look for this date, it's in minus 1560 that he existed. So no one is before him. Even the book of Quran is late. Well, I'm going to show it earlier. I'm going to show it later. Just to tell you that I have given you the truth and I didn't invent anything. Grandpa Moise, as I said, it's in minus 1,500 before the year 0 that he existed. Yeah, let's look in another source, because this one didn't tell anything. So this is what we have just read. Let's look at another source. Let's look for another source. We haven't found it yet, but let's look for another. I'm giving you proof that it's approximately in this date that Moshe was born. This is another source according to the research. Yeah, you can also do research if you want. So here it is around, according to the research, it is gone again. Yeah, it's portrait of Moise, name Moise ben Amram, from the tribes of Levi. Born was it's around 1280 before the year 0. So Moshe and Abraham, they were long before ago. His grandpa is in minus 1,900, and he was in minus 1,500. Yes, that is normal, because after that there was a join Israeli people get out of Egypt. So if we are doing the calcul, if it was in 1,800 years and minus 500, it gives 1,000, approximately 1,200. It is approximately, but we want to say that it is the most ancient, and it is clear that they are the most ancient, and no one got the true name except they who were most ancient. And it's in the Sefer Torah of Jews that we can find that, and the book of Jews are called Sefer Torah. These are the most ancient book. That means that no one have that ancient book having the story of Abraham except the book of the story of Abraham and Moshe. They are the most ancient. And if we are talking about the Muslims book, we know that it's in plus 600 that book exists. That means that it's late after So we must look at the truth, because it's about salvation. And salvation, we are saving people. How can we save people? And we are saying the truth. Let's take a look at that. I'm not inventing, but yeah. So let's follow it. So here I'm going to give you what year the Book of Muslims came out. Let's see it. So we're going to show it there, and no one cannot say that this is wrong, because everything tells this. It is composed of a revelation made by God to the Prophet Muhammad through the intermediary of the Archangel Gabriel between 612 and 632. It is the constitutive act of Islam and its absolute reference. That's it. So here we can see that the book of Muslims, which is brought by Prophet Muhammad, according to Muslims' religion, it is between 612 and 632. So that is the year that it was created. That's it. Because I said it's it's a year of Quran's creation. So you can look for that. Here is another explanation. When was the Quran created? The oldest completed version of the Quran date back to the 9th century. Fragments, which are very rare, could date back to the end of the 7th century or the beginning of the 8th century. So here, some say also that it is it's in minus 600 years. And who wrote the Quran? So yeah, it is written in your book as well. So the first one is what we have wrote, and these are among the writer Caliph Abu Bakr. It's in 632 and 634. These are the late writers, but we have seen earlier that the Prophet Muhammad, who wrote that Quran, or the book of Quran, through a revelation, Archangel Gabriel, and it's in minus 612 and minus 632. And it's obvious then that with the picture, with the thing that we have talked, the one who has the most ancient about this God Abraham, because the Muslims also say that God of Abraham, but they made it Ibrahim. But Elia said it's Abraham because it was in Book of Jude that he was found first. And the Jews called it Abraham, and it's the God of Abraham. It's Abraham. That is his name. And because everyone say that he gives birth to Ismail and Isaac, they were born from him, so it's the same thing. Abraham gives birth to Ismail and Isaac as well. And that's why we must get back to the original name. The original name is what Moshe called and Abraham called as well. And the God of Abraham and Moshe, who is that? Let's see that. In the Sefer Torah. So what has been Sefer Torah? The book of Sefer Torah is the book, the most ancient book that Moshe wrote. That is the Sefer Torah. The book that Moshe wrote. And the book that Moshe wrote, it's in that the story of Abraham, and it's in also the story of Moshe, get along with God and also get along with the Israelian. And as long as you believe in Abraham and Moshe, we must look at the original story according to the Jewish book, the Sefer Torah, because it's in the scripture in minus 1,300 or 200, and it's according to the date, but we are not going to debate about the accurate date, but who are the most ancient, and according to the most ancient, we don't know anymore in which date exactly it is. But what is the most ancient book? What is the most ancient one? Because it's in that we are going to see the truth, and as it's obvious that we should refer to the book of Jews, the Sefer Torah of Jews. So let's take a look at the Sefer Torah that we have here. So I always give you, this is how we look for the truth. And even you also, you can watch it, you can look for it. Here is the Wikipedia of Sefer Torah. We can show it. The Sefer Torah in Hebrew, the book of Torah, where exactly the role of Torah, plural, Sifrei Torah, is a copy, manuscript of Torah or Pentateuch, the holiest Bible for Judaism. So here it is really said that the Sefer Torah, or the book of Jews, which is the most ancient one. So that is what we meant here, according to what is here. So there is the book of Moshe. So Pentateuch means book of Moshe. So that is the Pentateuch. It's a production of Sefer Torah below, according to the Jewish law. A Sefer Torah or Sifrei Torah is a copy of the Hebrew text of the 5 books of Moses, the Pentateuch. So here the Sefer Torah is the 5 books that Moshe wrote. That means the Pentateuch. I think that it's clear. So the Sefer Torah is the original of the Moshe, the book of Moshe that he wrote. It's the most ancient one. So obviously, then, if we are looking for the name of the God of Abraham, we must look for his name according to the Sefer Torah of Jews, and we have that. Eliah has that. So let's look for that. Did Abraham really call the name? And what is the name that Abraham called? Because they were the most ancient. So everyone who is later, we cannot consider them. The reason is, if we have found the original, when do you go to original? That makes sense. So if we want to head on to original one, the name of the God, the original name of God is what Moshe and Abraham called. So what did they call the God, their God? Because Sefer Torah is wrote by Moshe. So the Pentateuch is the Moshe's book. It's the book of Moshe. That is the Pentateuch. It's in blue parentheses, the book of Moses, or the Pentateuch. The Pentateuch is wrote by Moses, the 5 book: Genesis, Exodus, Numbers, Leviticus, and Deuteronomy. So these are the book that Moshe wrote. But the story of Abraham, where the words of Abraham is, it's in the Genesis. So let's take a look at the Abraham's words when he called that God. So what did he call according to the Jewish book? Because everyone knows that. I have to notice that there is no blasphemies with that. Hey, be careful. Eliah saves people, and he saviors of people. And I am drawing people to come to the true God, who save and who hate sins, who removes sins from people, because that is the objective of God. And He made people perfect. People are made perfect, and it's the God of Abraham that I preach to you. His name is Yahvah, that we are going to look at. People who follow Him becomes perfect, and the one who are talking to you right now is the first one who is perfect on this earth. Eli is his name. That's why I call you to come to the God of Abraham, because those who follow Him becomes perfect. That's why I call you, and that is the meaning. That is the purpose of that salvation. Those who follow Him are perfect. That's why He said also, I don't go get along with with sinners. I mean, so that means that He never needs someone who is not perfect, but He needs perfect people. And Eliah, who teaches you now, calls you and draw you to become perfect and never sin, because there are lots of people who never sins and perfect on this earth who follow Eliah, because that God of Abraham, I'm telling you, He hates sinners. That's why the prophet Isaiah said that God never listened to sinners, and He never listened to people who are not perfect. We are going to talk about that, but let it flows little by little. And I'm going to prove to you that you humans are sinners, even though some say that they are not sinners, but they are liars. You are all sinners, but those who never sins are those who call Yahvah, the God of Abraham. So let's take a look at this passage. We are going to read it. Let me look for it again. It was gone. Yeah, we must look at it. We must look for it. Genesis chapter 12, verse 8. I'm going to read it first, and I'm going to read it in Hebrew. Genesis 12, 8. From there he went on toward the hills east of Bethel, and pitched his tent, with Bethel on the west, on Ai on the east. There he built an altar to Yahvah, and called on the name of Yahvah. So it's Abraham, which is been said here. So Abraham called the name Yahvah. That is first. Genesis chapter 13, verse 4. And where he had first built an altar, there Abraham called on the name of Yahvah. So Abraham then called the name God with the name Yahvah. So let's take a look at this name in Jewish words, because here it's a Malagasy version or English version, but let's take a look at the Hebrew version in the Sefer Torah of Jews. So let's read that here. So let's read the Genesis earlier. Genesis chapter 13, verse 4. I think it's in 13, verse 4. This is another one. This is just one, and it's enough for us. So here we can see the name Yahvah. That's it. So here the Hebrew name, the Hebrew writing, this is the Yahvah. So let me screenshot it, and so that you can see it. Let me screenshot it, and I'm going to transfer you. Yeah, it's always here. We're not going to go far away, but it's always here. It's still here. So this is Yahvah here. Okay, let's make it in red here. So this is Yahvah, the name of the God of Abraham. Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey. So this is the name. So let's make it in green below here. The word is kind of blurred, but it's okay. So this is the name of the God of Abraham. That's how it is read. Okay, when it is shown, let's read it. So the way to call this name, Hebrew name, this is Yod, the first one. The second is Hey. Vav is the next one, and Hey after. The way to call that is Yahvah. That is how it is called. That is his name when it is read. So let's explain that in another word. But let's look. The best one is to look for the words of Moshe, because it's Moshe who have read that name first. So let's take the way he read it. Let's run to Moshe, because Abraham called that name Yahvah. So let's take a look at Moshe's one. Let's look for it. It's here. This is the Yahvah that I have said to you. But here, the translation of the name, it's there is a long debate for that name, how that name is read, because Yahvah here, yeah, let's screenshot it again. We're going to see how it is read, and it's those who call the name the way I call it are washed away from their sins and they never sin. This Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey, this is how it is read. This is how it is read. And the way to read this is, I'm going to teach you. Yod is Y or E, A-H, and V, A-H. And you may say, how can you do that? I am reading this, but I am going to explain you how it is written. So Jews, when they read, it's from right to left. And the way to read this is Yahvah. I'm going to teach you that really, but let's just take a look at this picture. So if we are going to read it normally, it's Yahvah. And you may say, what I see here is W, and between this is there is nothing. I'm talking here. Where is this and where is that? How about this? These are two questions that can be asked. What are these words? Because according to this Yahvah, these are not seen here. And I'm telling you, let's see the meaning of that then. So let's go into, let's make it enter. So let's take a look at it together. But let's get back to Moshe first. And it's after that that we get back to these words of Grandpa Abraham. Let's go to Moshe first. And after we have seen Moshe's one, we can read it. So how to read the name Yahvah? So let's read the book of Moshe. Where can we find that? It's in the book of Exodus. Genesis for Hebrew is Bereshit. Bereshit is the name of Genesis in Hebrew. So let's take a look at Genesis. I mean a book of Moshe in Exodus. Shemot in Hebrew. Shemot in Hebrew. And it's in this Shemot, Exodus in English. In other nations, Exode in French. And Exodus, let's take a look at Exodus chapter 15 verse 2, because Moshe called the name of God. And we can see the shape Yod and Hey. And I'm teaching you as well the way to read it in Hebrew, and to know as well what is the real name of God of Abraham, how to call the name. And I am giving you in general, and after I get in details after it, little by little. And don't worry, but because you're going to know it after. Azi, Vzimrat, Yah. So this is a transliteration of it. Azi, Vzimrat, Yah. And this Yah, we are going to see who this Yah pointing out, because this Yah is the God of Abraham, because he glorified him. He calls that. He calls that this Yah. This is Abraham called. So I'm going to give you what he called. This is the shape that we have seen. Let's let's give a sign for it. We are reading from here, and we're going to. It is going to be obvious for you. This is the name of the God of Abraham, Yod and Hey. So how to read that according to him? So let's see it, because we're going to keep that. So how to read it, and as an answer to read, the way to read that is this Yah. This Yah. Let me screenshot it, and let me repeat it again for you. I'm giving it to you little by little so that you can follow it well. So the way to read this is here, and it cannot be changed. When you have seen the shape Hey, Yod Hey, it's Yah. That's it. So we're going to let that now, and let me teach that to you. This is what that means. I'm going to make it on a board, because as I am teaching, I'm going to teach you well. So it's after that I'm going to read the English version. We're going to read the English one after. This is his name. Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey. And you may say, how can I know that name? We are going to read that after. That it's his name. And we have seen about this shape. We have seen these shapes. These shapes, we have seen that these shapes is read as Yah. That's we have seen. Yah. We have seen that it is read as Yah. We have just read that. And because we have seen that shape, Yod, Hey, and it is read as Yah. So with that, to read this first one, when we read this first one, it's Yod, Hey, and it is read as Yah. That's it. Is it clear? And we're going to screenshot that for those who take notes. It's Yah. How to read this first one? We have seen that shape in the form, in this shape in the when Moshe called that, and it's Yah. How it is read. So let's repeat it so that there is no mistake with the words, and no one can deny that, because we have seen that Yah was read by Moshe as Yah, and no one can deny that, because we have seen that together, and we were going to get back after that. So let's screenshot it, and we are going to keep it, because that one is finished. That is Yah. It is gone. That's it. It is gone now. So how to read the second one? So what is the second one? This is the second one. This is the second one. Immediately I'm going to give it to you, and after I give you the name. Let's immediately read it. Yah is my strength. This is in English. Yah is my strength and song, and He is become my salvation. He is my El, and I will prepare him an habitation. That means that this Yah is the God of Jews. Yah is his name, and here it's really obvious. Yah, above here, Yah, or Yod Hey, Yah, and this is the God. El means God. He is my El. So for Jews, then the God of Jews is called Yah, or Yod and Hey. That is obvious, and there is no more debate with that. But what Moshe said is Yah, that he is called. And how to read the last two ones? So let's get back to, it's always here, with the two last ones. So we have seen then the Yod Hey, but here they put it as Yahweh. However, we have just seen earlier that in this transliteration, it's not Yahweh. That's why the Roman Catholic was wrong. Yahweh, they said. because it's in the transliteration, it's Yahvah, how it is read, how it is called. So let's take a picture, let's screenshot it. And some said it's Yahweh, not Yahvah. And let's read that. That is also wrong, because the way to read this is, let's repeat it again. The way to read this, let's screenshot it again, because the way to read this is according to what I am teaching you now. So this is it. This is the writing, and the way it is written is this. We have seen that this one is Yah. And how to read these two last ones? Because they are from right to left. So how to write this Vav? Vav, a little bit longer. And hey, how to read this now? The way to read this according to them is W-A-H. And that's why you say Wah. But it's not Wah how it is read, but Va for Jews. Jews read this as Va. So let's take a look at that. We're justified that for Jews W is read as V. So let's take a look at kind of an encyclopedia on the internet. Yeah, let's take a look at that. Have I write this? Yeah. Let me show it, and let's take a look at the encyclopedia. Talking about the Vav. Vav is how is read. So let's look for that. Let me look for it. In Jews, W. For Jews, they really made a correction with their language. The way to read W for Jews is really Vav or V. It's V. So let's read that. Let's see that. You can immediately show it. This is Wikipedia. So Wikipedia, all the wise or those who are doing researches about letters, numbers, who are in and how to read the W for them. The way to read W for them, it's in minus 200 years, and it's Sopherim. Jewish Sopher who wrote the Sefer Torah, who have done that, and it's these writers who did a declaration in minus 200 years. It's in minus 200 years before the year 0. That is the BCE. BCE is it's considered as the year 0, and it's before year 0. It's in minus 200 years. So the Jews around the world made a declaration in minus 2,000 years that the way they read W is V. It's not Wu, but V. And no one cannot argue with that, because they are the honor of their language. And it's not you, other nations, who's going to argue with that, because they got their own culture and civilization. So here we see the Vav. This is the letter Vav that we have said in Hebrew, because I am teaching you also Hebrew, and you know the Hebrew language. So immediately you're going to notice that what Elia said is true, that it's a V, how it is read. It's a V. So here, above here, we see based on the pronunciation of the modern Israeli Hebrew. So this is a correction of Hebrew language that people mistaken, and they corrected it. So description that follow are based on the pronunciation of modern standard Israeli Hebrew. It's about pronunciation. Yeah, that's obvious. If you don't know English, Yahvah just explained it. The way to read the Hebrew ones, according to Hebrew, read it. It's a standard Israeli Hebrew. It's the words Hebrew letter, Israeli Hebrew. That means the Hebrew words. And Hebrew made a declaration. And no one cannot argue with that or disagree with that, because they got their own language. Like you, Malagasy, you got their own language. And for them, don't get involved with their language. When they say this is how it is read, you cannot enter or get involved with that or argue with that. And those who follow the way they read it, like Elia, that is the way it is read. Everyone who follow him becomes perfect and never do everything, because they know the true name. When you know the true name, you never sin after that. So here is the letter Vav. The Vav. And this is the letter Vav. This is the Vav. The way to read this is V as in Vag. So V, that is how it is read. So pronunciation is here above. Pronunciation. Approximate Western European equivalent. So it's like a Europeans words. And when the Europeans, it's like Vag, V. And the letter Vav in Hebrew, according to Abraham and Moshe called it, it's a V. To read this W, not W-O, like the others did, but it's directly Vav, V. That is first. Let's take a look at another encyclopedia, another Wikipedia, because we see that it's Wikipedia, Hebrew alphabet, wikipedia.org. We can see it above, wikipedia.org. Hebrew alphabet. And you can see now that it's about alphabet according to the Hebrew alphabet. So let's take a look at another Wikipedia. According to that picture, we're going to look above, because there is another Wikipedia here. This one, it's it's minus 200 years, and it was it comes out in it's in Proto-Canadian, Phoenicians, Aramean, Hebrew. Yeah, so the way to its alphabet, it's Hebrew alphabet, according to Wikipedia, always wikipedia.org, below the God of Abraham, wikipedia.org. So it is a choose word. It's an Hebrew alphabet, Abjad. So here, it's in minus 2,000 years. That means before the year 0 that it existed. So let's take a look at how it is read at that time. So how to read that in the how to read the letter V for them. This is the Vav. This is the Vav, Vav, or W-A-W. So how to read it is V. It's a V, this great V. And let's take a look at this here. It's phonemes. Phonemes. So phonemes, it's the sound of it. It's the sound of it. That is the meaning of the phonemes. So how is the how it is what is the sound of it? It's a V. It's a V, V. It's not W, but V, Va. So they put the phonemes of it. It's a V. It's a V. I hope that you can see it. So this V, that's how we call the Vav. V. This is the Vav. The phonemes of it is so when it is read with mouth and lung, it's a V according to Wikipedia. That means that no one can go against that. But Vav, it's a really V. So let's get back to the Hebrew language. Let's get back to it, because we have taken picture of it. So before we take picture of it, let's write it. Let me write it, what I have taught you just earlier. So let me erase these. That's it. So let's read it again. Let's write it again. So here, the first one. Yahweh. And according to Jews, the way to read this first one, let me put it below. The way to read this is E. It's a H. That is how it is read. I'm going to make it simple. And when it is combined, we are going to write it normally. It becomes Yah. So it becomes Yah. Yah. That's it. So is that clear? So this is it's Grandpa Moshe who called that, and you cannot go against that. And once you see that shape, it's Yah that Father Grandpa Moshe called it. So let's screenshot that first, and after you can look after that. Look that after that is the Yah. It enters. So let's take a look at the WAH. Yeah, we always keep repeating what has been written for the truth of the teaching. Yeah, Yod Hey, Vav Hey. So how to read these? We have seen earlier that the way Hebrew call that or read that is WAH. That is written in the transliteration. But Hebrew sets up that the way to read this W, we're going to put it in green. The way to read this is V. So with that, when we read this, then it becomes VAH. That means the way to read this is Va. We're going to make it normally because we read from left to right normally, so Va. So let's combine it now. Because according to Hebrew it's Va, so let's add this one before him. The way to read this is, according to Hebrew again, it's Yah, Y-A-H. Yeah, and when we combine Yah and Va, it gives, let's put it with the yellow, Yah for the first, Yod Hey, and Va for the V-A-H. So this is the Yahvah that Moshe called. Yahvah. So we see now the four letters of Hebrews, the four letters of Hebrew. That means that the name, Hebrew name, which designated the God of Abraham, is because it's Abraham who called that Yahvah. And the way to read Yod Hey Vav Hey, according to Hebrew again, it's Yahvah, and no other nations can change that because it's the owner who tell that Grandpa Moshe and Abraham called that, and it becomes people when those and the God who made people perfect and never sin, his name is Yahvah. And if you want to be saved and don't want to be lost to the endless loss, call Yahvah, because it is called by Moshe and Abraham as well. This is both of them called. So let's screenshot it. If people wish for their teaching, we're going to keep that. So let's get back to the Hebrew version. Exodus chapter 15, verse 3. So here, the way to read this Hebrew language, this is the Hebrew ones. This is the term Yahvah. Yahvah. So we are going to look at how it is read. Yahvah ish milshama Yahvah shmo. So let's see the meaning. So this is a wrong translation that Roman Catholic did. They did it as Yahweh. However, that term doesn't exist at all. That's why they removed it in the Bible, the term Yahweh, because it doesn't exist. So Yahvah is a man of war. I'm going to read it in Malagasy version as well. Yahvah is a man of war. So he is a fighter. Yahvah is his name. Yahvah is his name. Again, this Yahweh is a wrong translation. This is a translation, is a wrong translation from Roman Catholic. It's a Roman Catholic who wrote that. But the original one is this one. This Yahvah, Yeshmil Shema, Yahvah. This is the original. This is the transcription, which is not complete yet. That's why I completed. This is how it is really read, and that is his name in Jews. And the Shmo means name. That's why it is Yahvah is his name. Name, it's the name. So even the Roman Catholic make it wrong. Protestant did Jehovah, and Roman Catholic made Yahweh. And I don't know how about you. Ask yourself, who are you calling? You who pretend to call the God of Abraham. But the book of Jews said, and people who call the name that Abraham and Moshe called never seen. The name that Abraham and Moshe called is Yahvah. And the Yod-Heh is also called Yah. And that's why the God of Abraham is called Yahvah. And those who call that name becomes perfect, and they never sin. And that is the plan of that God, so that people become someone who never sin and become perfect, and people who write and they got eternal life. It's up to you who listen to me now to think, will you still worship a fake God? Will you still follow God which had a fake name? That's why I gave you the date. See yours now. What are you calling? I gave a date for the Sefer Torah of Jews according about Abraham and Moshe, and I gave as well. So you take lesson from it, because you all humans are wrong. I gave a date also for the book of Muslims, which came out in plus 600. So what names will we follow if you really want to pray? So if you want to pray for the answer, go to the original one. And when you pray, you become perfect. You never sin, and you go to the God of Abraham. That is the lesson today. What is the name, the true name of the God of Abraham? Because the others are fake, and it's obvious the true name of the God of Abraham is Yahvah. And it is called by Isaiah in Isaiah. I think it's in 20. I don't remember. Isaiah, the prophet, called him. Let's look at it if I can find it here. Isaiah chapter 26, verse 4. Let's read that. Isaiah chapter 26, and it is really said, it is really mentioned about transliteration and phonemes in the Sefer Torah of Jews that we are reading. This is it. So this is the Hebrew writing. This is the right Hebrew writing. We're not going to waste our time because there is already transliteration here. Bichu by Yahvah. Adei ad kiv by Yahvah. Yahvah. So it is combined here. Yahvah. It's obvious. The name of that Yahvah is Yahvah. And they are really combined. They are really together. Let me screenshot it again. The way to call him is really Yahvah, as we saw together. So this is it. Let's look at it together. This is Yah, and the rest is Yah. This one, Yahvah, and this is the writing. Sorry, we did a mistake. So now we have kept it. So this is the writing This is the writing. You see here. So this is the Yah. This is the Yah. It's in the middle. And because it's from right to left, this is the rest, Yahvah. This one. So this is the Yahvah. They are lining up. So let me screenshot it. If you say at home, we cannot see it, but it's his real name, Yahvah. This is the Yah. This is the Yah, and this is the rest, Yahvah. That's it. And you can see with that it's really a name, how he is called, the name Yahvah. So that is the name of the God of Abraham. Yahvah is his name. So I hope that you have taken that the God of Abraham, that Moshe called, and Eliah gave the explanation here, the Jewish name, which makes people perfect and non-sinner, no sinner, which means they never sinned. That name is called Yahvah, the God of Abraham. That means that if you haven't called that, your God is fake. You have called a fake God and you were deceived. But what Eliah is doing is about love. I am calling you, look at the God of Abraham. He's the real Savior. So we're going to see when Grandpa Abraham and Grandpa Moshe called that name in minus 1,000 years. No one is before them. The book of Muslims, it's in plus 600. It's long after them. But the book of Jews, which is Sefer Torah, it's in minus 1,500 or minus 1,800. So it's the most ancient one. And if that is the most ancient one, I am telling you, you cannot go against the words. But the true word is what Grandpa Abraham and Grandpa Moshe said. And both of them called that God in the name Yahvah. We have seen that. We have seen that. So let's add that word to add it so that you are satisfied. So let's look at the Malagasy version first, and in another version after. I must look for it. Where? In Genesis, let's take a look at the passage. Genesis chapter 23, verse 20. Genesis chapter 21, verse 23. So this is a continuation of the words. Genesis chapter 21, verse 23. So here we can see that he called his God in the name Yahvah. Where has it gone? Chapter 21, verse 32. Yeah, it's verse 33. Sorry for you who follow. It's verse 33, not 23. Yes, 33. Yes, this is it. So this is the Hebrew writing, and this is the name of God of Abraham. It's in the middle. Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey. This is the alphabet, Hebrew alphabet. It's Yahvah. And we can see in the Genesis chapter 21, verse 33 in Bereshit. Vaita El Shel Beaver Shaiva Va Yikrasham B'Shem Yahvah El Olam. So this is it. Abraham called the name Yahvah. So let's read it in English. And Abraham planted a grove in Beersheba, and there he called on the name of Yahvah, the eternal God. So yeah. So we can see now here that Abraham what has really called. I gave you three passages in Genesis 12, Genesis 13, and now it's Genesis 21 verse 33 that he really called that name in the name. He called that God in the name of Yahvah, and the God of Abraham then in minus 1,900, and in Moshe minus 1,200. It's Yahvah. That is the name. And if it's not that, you were wrong, and you have to accept to be wrong. Why? Because it's about salvation. It's about love. It's a love for you to be saved. There is nothing apart from that. It's about salvation. If you want your soul to be saved, listen to that. If you don't want your soul to be saved, don't listen to it. But you who are looking for salvation, listen to the words of Eliah. So next time we're going to see what is its continuation, because when you follow that the words of God of Abraham, where that Abraham speaks to after, and where is the word to be trusted lastly? Where is the word to be trusted lastly? So we're going to listen to that teaching maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day after tomorrow. So we're going to see where the God of the grandpa Abraham went. Who brings that truth? Where is that God? And with him, with who is him now? We know that it's with Moshe. And in this generation, where can we find that God? And the answer is, he's with Eliah now. That's why I am teaching you now. But before it reached to me, we're going to see the truth. But today we have seen that Abraham have the God called Yahvah, and so as Moshe, Yahvah. It's in Moshe that it is known Yahvah. It's in Moshe that it is known that it's Yahvah. So I wish you, YAHOSHUAH bless you all. I hope that you are happy, because it is salvation for people around the world. Whether you are Israelite or Arabs or Vietnamese or American or African, the salvation is for everybody. Eliah comes to save. Eliah comes to save you and to bring salvation for those who wish salvation and never accept to be killed by devils, but to be saved. Don't worry. Don't be afraid. The salvation is arrived. There is nothing to be afraid of. The God of Eliah is living, and he sent Eliah. He's representing him directly. That is the words of Eliah. Glory be to Father Yahvah, and glory be to the last prophet that he sent. We are going to talk about the last prophet that he sent, but the last prophet that Father Yahvah sent, his name is YAHOSHUAH. And we are going to really look at who is that YAHOSHUAH. We're going to reach that. What is the words that Father Yahvah said? What is the words of God of Abraham? We're going to see that, because the goal is to become never sin. And the one who is preaching to you now is the one who never sinned on this earth, and the one who is perfect because he is with Father Yahvah. Let's come with Eliah. Glory be to Father Yahvah. Let's pray together. Thank you very much, beloved Father Yahvah, for the words that you have given. But the words that you have given is love and salvation, which gives peace of awareness to people around the world. Where are you? Eliah asked you, don't let devils kill people. There are lots of people that they have killed to hell. Save people, Father Yahvah. That's what Eliah asks from you, so that you save people, and they will listen to the last prophet that I'm going to explain in detail. The goodness of that last prophet, YAHOSHUAH is his name. Father Yahvah, beloved Father Yahvah, show your glory and your power. In the name of YAHOSHUAH, hallelujah, amen. So I wish you, Yahushua bless you all for the next teaching. Goodbye.